Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. Beginning in the Panhandle, where severe storms spawned at least one tornado and produced softball-size hail while leaving a trail of destruction Thursday afternoon. The National Weather Service office in Cheyenne reported one tornado near Hawk Springs, Wyoming. That tornado was on the ground for about 5 minutes. No major damage reported there. But tennis ball-sized hail was also reported near Hawk Springs. The severe weather left damage in Scottsbluff County, Nebraska. One official reporting damage to a house and barn and flipped rail cars south of Mitchell. Trained weather spotters reported downed power lines and poles near towns like Morrill, Lyman, and Mitchell. The storms also left behind a unique type of hazard, a hail flow. That's what you're seeing in this video west of Scotts Bluff, shared on X by Chad Casey. Weather officials say a hail flow happens when heavy amounts of hail fall ahead of heavy rain. The hailstones begin to flow along with the rainwater, creating this almost lava-like effect. In other news, tuition going up at the University of Nebraska as departments are being told to tighten their belts. The Nebraska Board of Regents approved their 2025 fiscal budget on a 7-2 vote Thursday. The $1 billion budget includes a $9 per credit hour jump in tuition at UNL. Tuition's up $8 per credit hour at UNO, $7 per hour at UNK. The budget also includes $11.5 million in spending cuts. All these moves to make up for a projected budget shortfall of $17 million.
And just like as you go to the gas pump and the price of gasoline goes up, or you go to the grocery store and the price of your groceries are getting higher, we are not going to, you don't run to your employer typically and ask for a raise to cover that. You make priorities and your spending decisions, and that's what we're going to ask.
The budget also lets the board invest in another $1.5 million to expand the new President's Scholars Program. That provides a full scholarship plus a $5,000 stipend to Nebraska students who score a perfect 36 on the ACT. On Capitol Hill, the U.S. Senate Thursday unanimously passed the Winnebago Land Transfer Act. It was introduced by U.S. Senator Deb Fischer of Nebraska, co-sponsored by Senator Pete Ricketts. Senator Fischer said the legislation would transfer about 1,600 acres of land back to the Winnebago tribe that were seized in the 1970s by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
In the mid-1800s, the government forcibly removed the Winnebago tribe from their homeland. They settled in a new home in 1865. The Winnebago Indian Reservation in my home state of Nebraska. The government promised that land to the Winnebago tribe, and they promised it forever. But they did not keep that promise.
The condemned land also included tracts of reservation land in Iowa. The Corps filed eminent domain proceedings to acquire the land, which triggered years of legal challenges. The bill now heads to President Joe Biden's desk for his signature. Imposter scams are on the rise again, this time in Lancaster County. The state attorney general's office says there's been an increase of late of calls from scammers impersonating Lancaster County law enforcement. The scammers try to get money from victims by saying there's a warrant out for their arrest unless they pay money over the phone. State officials say the scammers try to sound official by giving a fake title, employee ID, or badge number. Authorities tell us anyone who gets a call like this should hang up immediately and contact law enforcement. Well, boating, fishing, water sports, all available to Nebraskans as summer kicks into full gear. But Nebraska Game and Parks is asking boaters to take care of their motors to keep invasive species out of the state. Jake Bartecki has more.
Talk to anyone with Nebraska Game and Parks and they'll say that one of their main goals is to keep Nebraska habitats healthy, and that doesn't change for aquatic habitats like the one behind me. And because of this, they're asking boaters this summer to take care of their motors to prevent the spread of invasive species.
And the zebra mussel larvae in particular are microscopic, so when they're present They can literally be in the water and you don't have any idea they're there.
Daryl Bauer of Game and Parks Fisheries Division met with NCN at Stagecoach Recreation Area in southern Lancaster County, which includes a near 200-acre lake often frequented by anglers and boaters from across southeast Nebraska and the Lincoln Metro. For invasives, zebra mussels are the main concern. They originated from Russia and Ukraine and have been accidentally introduced into numerous other areas around the world. To prevent them, Bauer says to clean, drain, and dry out your motors to prevent the spread.
Recommendations on clean, drain, and dry, especially drop that motor so you get that lower unit down and all the water drains out of it. And then make sure you inspect, take all the vegetation off the trailer that might, any fragments that might be caught on the trailer, any mud or anything, clean that off.
Fortunately, Nebraska has been spared the worst of zebra mussel outbreaks, but isolated spots are positive.
Missouri River, of course, is positive for zebra mussels. Beaver Lake, a private lake over on the eastern edge of the state, they confirmed the presence of zebra mussels there last year, and then off at Air Force Base on that Air Force Base, the lake there has zebra mussels.
While the impacts of invasives such as zebra mussels are mostly unknown, it's almost certain they'll have some sort of an impact on the native species inhabiting the area.
Because they carp at the bottom, that changes habitat, so that can affect spawning habitat for fish species. And then, just filtering all of the water like they do. They're filtering some of those plankton out of the water that whole aquatic food chain depends on.
In Lancaster County, Jake Bartecki, News Channel, Nebraska.
A science, technology, engineering, and math camp is empowering kids in central Nebraska. This week, Star Elementary in Grand Island hosted kids for the STEM Power Camp. The camp offers a diverse curriculum to kids. They get to learn about art, coding, engineering, sculpture, and other subjects. It's plenty to keep both campers and camp coordinators excited.
I learned that if we work together, everything can be possible.
It provides students an opportunity to meet other students around Grand Island Public Schools, and it also gives the students an opportunity to explore different areas. We have music where they learn how to play a ukulele that they might not be able to do throughout the school year. We have science classes that is very different than what they would be exposed to throughout the school year.
The camp has been going on now for more than a decade, but this year saw its largest enrollment to date for Grand Island Public Schools. Some 250 kids from 2nd through 5th grade participated. Well, a family with decades of experience farming in northeast Nebraska being honored for their efforts. The Kruger family of Pierce named Farm Family of the Year at the Northeast Nebraska Ag Banquet on Thursday. The Krugers have been farming in Pierce County for 45 years now. The Ag Committee also awarded $5,000 worth of scholarships to graduating seniors. The banquet was headlined by Greg Peterson, a farmer from Kansas, whose music videos about farming have gone viral on social media. Well, a number of buildings throughout Nebraska have stood the test of time, some part of the National Register of Historic Places. And now, with help from History Nebraska, one site in Norfolk is building for another 100 years. Luke Stera has more.
The McMill building has always been a part of Nancy Brozek's life.
Before my husband and I were even married, we had to walk by here to go to the movie theater. And I saw Abe, which is the eagle out front, and I said, someday I'm going to work there.
Decades later, she is a co-owner of the historic site, which operated as the post office in Norfolk until the 70s. With trying to conduct a business out of a building originally constructed in 1903, there were many updates done to restore the site. What was once a post office and courthouse is now occupied by several businesses. That was made possible with historic tax credits.
They're historic buildings. We want to respect that history, but we also want to be able to help these buildings be rehabbed, be able to serve modern purposes.
History Nebraska's stop in Norfolk is part of their Rehab Roadshow, showcasing projects in the state that have used the tax credits to make updates to their buildings. The program provides a state income credit of 30% to rural areas and 25% in more urban areas. After the legislative session last year, the program saw an increase to $2 million available for projects. According